Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today, I've chosen to talk about the subject of manifestation, but I wanted to touch base on manifestation when it comes to older adults, right? Because I honestly truly believe that there is a difference between someone's ability to manifest when they are younger and their ability to manifest as they age. And some say, well, as you age, you should get better at it. So you really should be a master at the art of it. But the truth is that in my personal experience as an aging adult, when you age, it becomes actually harder to manifest, not easier. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that manifestation is strongly tied to energies. As I've explained many times below in this channel, in order to manifest, you need to be able to hold an energy or the energy of that object that you want to manifest and match the energy, which will bring the object closer to you. Now, why this is important? Because once again, as I explained just now, your capability to manifest is your capability to be able to reach certain energies, right? To be able to reach the energies of that thing, that object, whatever it is that you want to in life. And in order for you to be able to sustain higher energies as an older adult, it is very much tied or will be tied to your physical, emotional, and spiritual health, right? We unfortunately, as older adults, do not have the same vitality that we used to have when we were younger adults. Our energy levels will tend to go down. So therefore, we must make a more conscious effort to be able to push those energy levels up. And when you are sick, specifically physically sick, ill, your energy levels will suffer significantly. When you are emotionally ill, your energy levels will suffer significantly. When you are spiritually ill, your energy levels will suffer significantly. But today, I want to talk about physical health. Your physical health as an older adult is very important, specifically when it comes to manifestation. If you are not in good physical health, what will happen is that it will hinder your ability to raise your vibrations to become a vibrational match to that which you want to achieve, that which you want to get in your life, but at the same time, it will hinder you from being able to take action when you are setting that plan, when you know what you want and you've done a step by step action point of things to follow in order to get it. Most likely than not, you're not going to be able to follow through those action points because you are of ill health. So does that mean now that if you have a disease, if you suffer from a condition, you won't be able to manifest as an older adult? No, it doesn't mean that. What it does mean though is that you need to start making changes to your physical health in order to improve it. That way you will start to see what you desire come about even quicker. So what do we do to improve it? I strongly, strongly believe that when it comes to physical health, we are the accumulation in our older days of what it is that we put in our bodies throughout the years, right? You've heard of that saying, you are what you eat. And I strongly believe in it, specifically in our older days. Unfortunately for us in the US, we are sold more often than not a lifestyle that just basically has a lot of processed, highly processed food within it. Even when you go out to a restaurant, the majority of the food that they're serving you already comes frozen. They just heat it up and then they serve it to you. It is all highly processed for the most part. So if you really want to improve your health, in order to manifest, in order to just feel better and raise your energies and your vibrations, you have to stop eating that many highly processed foods. If you haven't done it in your younger years, there is always a time to start, and that time would be right now, not yesterday, not tomorrow, right now. Every little change that you make, whenever you realize that this change needs to be made, that is the right time to make it. That you can't undo the past, but we can certainly start fixing our future. And how do we do that right now? Well, me specifically, I like to apply the 80-20 rule. And we all know, especially the older folks, we know about the 80-20 rule in business, right? So I take that into my grocery habits as well. And what do I do specifically is that 80% of the food will be natural, what I consider to be natural. And then 20% I allow myself to be processed foods, right? So 80% natural, 20% processed, so that I continue to have that habit and it translates into what I eat. Because if 80% of my pantry is natural and only 20% of my pantry is processed, then that's exactly what's going to happen in my eating habit. But here's an example of my latest grocery run, and you can see the cart there, and you can kind of guess that and see that a lot of the foods that you see are natural, a lot of vegetables, a lot of greens, and a small portion of them clearly are not. And if you look at this other picture that shows you once I have taken the groceries out and I've had put them on my countertop, it follows more or less the 80-20% rule, where there are a few cans and other items that I consider to be processed. And on the other side, on the left hand side, you will find the items that are completely natural, or what I consider to be produces and things that do not contain highly processed materials. And one thing to note is that if you are a person that is putting a lot of processed foods in your cart, in your grocery shopping cart, simply because of a time factor, because you are a working adult and you get home and you're tired and now you need to think of what to cook, just know that I understand you and I understand that. But the way that I have managed that, and maybe it's something that could help you too, is by batch cooking. So what I do is that I cook for plenty. So when I'm going to make a recipe, I'll make it to probably feed 5 or 6 adults. And what that does is that gives me the capability of eating a meal that is already made that I put in my fridge and then I just heat up for the next 3 days. Now you don't have to do it. The fact that that's going to be the only meal that you're going to eat for the next 3 days, because that can get tiring. So just batch cook a few different recipes so that you can alternate them throughout the week. And basically you don't really need to cook until the next weekend. And that's what I do. Usually my Saturdays, my Sundays, I'll sit and batch cook, and I'll batch cook a different recipe each day, so that then I can save it and I can eat from them and I have variety throughout the week. It doesn't feel tiring, and it's actually quick and easy and a lot more nutritious than just getting a frozen meal, popping it in the microwave, and then eating it. Overall, if there's only one thing that you take away from this video, it is that it's never too late to change your habits in such a way that it promotes a healthier lifestyle, right? We can talk about exercise. That is another big one that is going to improve your overall physical health. But for now, eating habits are the easiest one to start changing, because they actually only require a little bit of mental effort, of being prepared, of doing a grocery list that does promote the 80-20 rule, being able to stick to that when you actually get to the grocery store and not just pick all of your usual items, and slowly starting to be more proactive with your eating habits, with what you put into your body in such a way that it will promote that healthier lifestyle. It will start getting you into a healthier habit. Well, thank you once again for watching. Have a wonderful and blessed day. See you next time.